I'm Jess.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are
the Iggy Parents!
Welcome to episode 6, part 2 of the Iggy Starter Kit. In our last episode, we discussed all of the things you must have to prepare for your Iggy to come home for the first time. Before we dive back into the discussion, here's a little recap of part 1. Previously on the Iggy Parents. We're going to organize everything you need or think you might need into categories.
We've got must-haves, both things to purchase as well as information to acquire.
Then in part 2, we'll discuss what you want, but not necessarily need.
There's things that you don't need. These are things that we bought and realized after we didn't use or need or didn't work for Adelaide specifically.
And the last category is wish we had. These are the things we wish we bought sooner. Let's start with what the must-haves you have to purchase.
Okay.
So like items. Number 1, 4-foot high pen.
I would say 4 foot is the minimum for by the time they're full grown at least.
And we even put a crate in the 4-foot pen. So she had a place to sleep and then she also had a place to pee. We'll get to that in a minute. Number 2, an adjustable puppy collar or martingale collar or even harness. She was under 4 pounds when she came to us.
Yeah.
And even at the tightest adjustable spot, it was still too big. Funny enough, we ended up making it smaller with a bobby pin. Number 3 for must-haves in your Iggy Starter Kit.
Blankets. Lots of blankets. Number 4, reusable pee pads.
So we discovered that there are reusable pee pads that you can wash in your laundry machine.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, travel crate or carrier to safely transport home and travel.
Number 6 is toys. It's good to get a chew toy, a tug toy, and a squeaky toy. Number 7, healthy food and healthy treats.
So this is a lot of stuff here. This is a big item on the list.
Right, yeah. This is obviously going to be its own episode or series of episodes at some point in the future. Number 8 is an enzymatic cleaner.
What a transition there, Ryan.
Success.
So smooth.
This is a cleaner for if they have accidents. Mostly it's for pee, but sometimes it's for poop.
Number 9, must-haves, a first aid kit. Mm-hmm. In a first aid kit for pets, there's going to be a number of different things. There could be splint, gauze, wrap, Dermagel spray, saline spray. It's probably not going to have Benadryl, but put Benadryl in your pack.
Number 10, nail trimmer. So there's 2 kinds that we have tried. I don't know if there's other kinds. Classic kind of scissor style and then a Dremel.
Those were our top 10 must-haves in a neat little bow.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot one thing. Poop bags.
Oh.
So forgive me, there are 11 must-haves. And I know that sounds like a lot, but when you're preparing to bring home your Iggy for the first time, it's a big shopping spree.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun.
These are the must-have things to research.
I will start by saying emergency vet.
That's probably an animal hospital that's going to be open overnight.
So you need to find your vet. That's number 2. But an emergency vet may or may not be the same as the vet that you go to for day-to-day things.
Number 3, training, reading materials, and videos. So we've recommended Zach George and Training the Best Dog Ever.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, you need to look for the puppy training / socialization schools in your area. We signed up Adelaide for puppy school even before she came home.
Number 5, research a dog walking or sitting service in your area. Sometimes the dogs are walked individually or they offer group walks, and that can be another chance for your dog to socialize. If your dog is good with other dogs, then it's a really fun way for the dogs to get to meet every day.
Number 6 is to have your breeder's contact information. So I'm going to say not every breeder is going to be as wonderful as ours has been.
We love you, Shalane.
If you have some kind of problem and you want to find out if there's any genetic problems, if they have genetic testing, that they can look back in the history of this line of dogs.
I'm adding one more, Ryan.
I saw.
Number 7, pet insurance. See what kind of insurance might work for your budget and what would help you to feel safest with your new pup. And we're back. So next up in our categories is want, but not need. To reiterate, these are the things that you can maybe wait to buy and see if they're right for your individual pup.
Mm-hmm. Try to resist. Try
to resist.
Try.
And these are the things, if you are on a budget, don't get right away.
Yeah.
It might also include things that you may or may not be able to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
For starters, toys or blankets from the breeder. So it's not a must-have, but if you could, a blanket that smells like your pup's litter mates or your mom is really helpful to help them to adjust for that first night of crate training or even just being in your home for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Adelaide still has some of her first toys, which is really adorable. She cuddles up with them sometimes. A little stuffed unicorn.
Another toy, or not toy. What would you call this?
Sleeping aid?
Yeah, kind of in the same vein. This item that you can get, it's called the Snuggle Puppy. It works by having a little mechanism or it's a stuffed toy that inside has a mechanism that emulates a heartbeat, and it can also have a heating pack that you can put in it. Again, like the smell, if you could get a blanket, this is going to simulate what it was like to be sleeping with mom and litter mates.
Yeah, so the warmth and the heartbeat, and it's an adorable stuffed dog. All in all, a great tool in case your dog's having any sort of separation anxiety or trouble adjusting to their new home.
Mm-hmm. We found one that was on sale, but I don't know if that's very common.
We were very lucky to get ours on sale.
Yeah.
We're bargain hunters. What can I say?
Okay, extra blankets. What do you mean by that?
Get as many blankets as you can. So it's not
I was afraid that's what you meant.
It's not necessary to have multiple blankets. So that's why we said blankets are things you need. But if you want an excessive amount of blankets, if you know that they love blankets, get as many as you want.
You have couch blankets and crate blankets and floor blankets and bed blankets.
I think we got like 7 blankets.
Yeah, there's even some in our storage ottoman.
We haven't even taken it out. We haven't even taken out the good blankets for her yet. Mm-hmm. And we have too many to go around.
Yeah.
But she uses all of them for different times of the day. She's using one right now.
She's using 2 right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
One to prop her up and the other one because it's soft. Anywho, bowls. We put this under the want category and not need because potentially you don't know what kind of bowls you want to use yet. So I know even when she stayed at my parents' house, we used the tiny little Corelle dishes that were small and a good size. And I just looked over. We're using them right now.
Yep.
It's good to have backups. So we like to have ceramic bowls, but maybe your dog needs a slow feeder. Maybe your dog needs a raised bowl. So again, if you make the decision before your dog comes home just based on the aesthetics of your house or what you want something to look like, it might not actually work for your pup. So if you want something to work in the meantime, I would say if you have your own ceramic dishes that are appropriately sized, start with that.
And you have a good way to clean them.
Yes. And then when you're ready and you see what kind of bowls your dog might like, then maybe splurge on a type of bowl that seems fitting.
Mm-hmm. We also have seen dogs that kind of knock over their water bowls or something like that, or they might knock over their food bowls and scatter the food everywhere, in which case you'd want one that is more sturdy and that they can't make a mess with, but she's been good about being delicate around her bowls.
At least in adulthood. When she was a puppy, we used a water feeder that attached, it kind of reminds me of what a hamster would have. It's a bowl and you attach it to the crate. So she can't knock it over. It's attached to her crate. And it even has a little spout where you can fill it up from the outside. So if you have something handy like that, that is initially what we used. Next up on the want list is a raincoat or winter coat and boots, depending on season. So I didn't put it in the need category because depending on the season you're getting your pup, they might not need clothes right away. For us, we didn't.
Or if you're not taking your dog out because of vaccines,
maybe you don't need the clothes.
We got her in July, so she didn't need it because of that. But if you're just not taking them out at all, then they won't need the clothes. And 8 weeks on, they're going to have, I don't know, maybe like doubled in size depending on the dog.
Don't go buying clothes if you don't think your dog's going to wear them before they grow out of them. And again, if you just want to dress up your dog indoors and you're not taking them outside, that's great. Do it up. The last want, but not necessarily need, we haven't found a need for it, but if you have a male dog, you might buy this right away. It's a doggy bathroom. We're pretty happy that Adelaide kind of squats to pee, and that's all we have to deal with. But we've seen way too many Iggies that are boys, and they kind of pee everywhere. I've even seen someone put up plexiglass on the side of their pen so that the pup wouldn't mark the wall. A doggy bathroom is kind of a litter box for dogs. It just has sides that come up, and it's got the pee pad in the bottom that soaks up the pee. And then if your dog pees on the side, it's no trouble because it's easily wiped down and gives them a little privacy, which is adorable. And it's like a little washroom for them. Maybe you get that sooner rather than later. Depends on your dog.
Next category is things that you definitely don't need.
Save your money.
Or at least they didn't work for us. So
right, maybe
learn from our experience.
Exactly.
The first is paper pee pads. So
oh boy.
We have mentioned many times in this that we have reusable pee pads, and that's because we went through many a ripped up paper pee pad.
I don't know when it started.
I know. She was okay for the first little while.
I have pictures of her with her, again, hot topic issue, but her bed and her paper pee pads in her pen.
Yeah.
She was itty bitty.
Yeah, so we started off with pee pads that had sticky corners. And then I think there was maybe one time when we put it down in a rush and didn't stick it. And she realized the corner could come up. And when the corner came up, you could put it in your mouth. When you put it in your mouth, you can rip it into tiny pieces, and it's very satisfying.
It's your new toy.
You being the dog, not you being the... I'm sorry I said that. So once she discovered that pee pads were fun to rip up, it made it very difficult to keep pee pads in the pen.
We tried to keep the pee pad underneath the pen, which is what we do now with the reusables, but she was still able to dig up from the center of the pee pad. I think the soft material felt good under her nails or something.
This is one of the problems that we've had having her in the pen is if she gets bored, she needs something to do. Sometimes that's rip up the pee pad, and sometimes that's rip up the bed.
So the next item on our list didn't work for us. A bed. We've tried so many beds. We've thrown out so many beds that we bought a new bed that was supposed to be indestructible, and it came in a new bag. We had been shopping. We bought some relatively inexpensive toys, but we had bought some replacement toys for current toys that had sort of lived their life already. And the new bed went right back in the bag it came in, down the garbage chute, and it had some toys in it too. So
Oopsie.
We were a little frustrated on that front because this probably was the 10th bed that we bought.
I don't think it was that many beds.
You don't think it was 10 beds?
No.
Adelaide's had at least 5 beds, and she's just over a year old. And sorry, that's 5 beds she's destroyed. She currently has a semi-destroyed bed that we were able to mend.
Yeah, Jess sewed it back together, and I don't know what it is about this bed that she hasn't destroyed it. She definitely plays in it. She kind of kicks up the blankets and rolls around on it. It's got like a fuzzy material on the top, so I think she likes the feeling of rubbing up against it. But
I think she doesn't know this is a bed because it's bigger than any bed she's ever had.
This is true.
It's like 4 times the size, which I've also heard the bigger the bed or the bigger the pen, the more trouble they can get into. But for us, for now, this big bed has been the best. A lot of Iggy owners will recommend the Costco beds, which are super soft and your dog can sort of burrow into it.
But we live in downtown Toronto and there's no Costco, so we don't have a Costco membership.
I know.
I think they also kind of come and go when they are available.
Apparently in our area, they all sold out.
Oh.
Every Iggy owner went and bought them.
That does happen with the Iggy owners in this area. They're enthusiastic.
So instead of a bed, we've settled on blankets.
Yep.
She does have her big bed in her pen, but honestly, she sleeps in the blankets. And she sleeps in the blankets on the couch. She even sleeps on the blankets just in the middle of a floor. If you put a blanket out, she'll sleep on it.
Mm-hmm. That's what we did at my parents' place. That we just folded up blankets and brought them, and then kind of she's got a blanket to put on the ground that's her padding, and then one that covers her over, and she's content.
I'd say if you're going to try a bed for your Iggy puppy, just start with something inexpensive in case it gets ruined, whether it's chewed, pooped on, whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
Poop happens. So just buy cheap and then work your way up to something nicer. I've seen online there are options for even dog sofas, like a small dog sofa, and your pup can sleep on a little sofa.
That sounds like a good photo shoot to me.
I know. Christmas wish list right now. Writing it down.
Christmas in July.
Thank you. Let's get it now. Okay, great. This has been a good talk. Next up on the list is clothes. We've already been through this. We're going to have a whole episode about this because we've had 2 blog posts about it.
Mm-hmm.
Adelaide doesn't like clothes. She's a nudist. It's okay. We've learned this about her. But sometimes she needs to wear clothes for her own good. While we bought her some clothes that maybe she will never wear for more than a minute, for example, her cute denim cap, I still am glad that we bought them. If they don't fit anymore, there's always other Iggy owners to give hand-me-downs to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all doom and gloom if you went and bought a lot of clothes and now you don't know what to do with them. But if you're looking to save money, hold off on the clothes. We didn't need it right away. We just needed a winter coat and some PJs to layer up. Layering is your friend.
When we first got Adelaide and we were doing a ton of research, the little elves on the internet that serve you up ads found that we were interested in dogs, which meant that we got tons of ads for Furbo, which is the dog cameras. So they specifically have a subscription that unlocks some of the features. I say this because I know, because I looked into it because the ads worked on me. It seemed to be basically just a camera and then had this subscription on top of it to have all these cool features. Because of that, we decided not to do it, but we've seen tons of people share security camera footage or baby camera footage, but dog camera footage. So lots of people do have some kind of camera to be able to keep track of them and watch them when you're not at home. And this is one thing that I love about being in 2020 is that you can watch it live.
I think it depends on your career as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be out from 9 to 5 and you don't have a dog walker, or maybe you do have a dog walker and you want to make sure that your pup is safe before and after their walk.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a good tool for you.
Right. It could also be a good mystery solver. Right? It's like, I wonder how they're getting this. And you look and they're like pulling the rug from across the room or something, right? Sometimes it's like, I wonder how they did that. I wonder how this happens. And if it's some kind of recurring problem, then it could be a tool to help you figure it out.
Or like the one time I had a heart attack and I came home and Adelaide's pen was open
Mm-hmm.
and it was wide open and her blankets were all pushed up against the door of the pen and everything was untouched. The bathroom door was open, but no toilet paper had been eaten. The bedroom door was open, but no socks had been grabbed. Where was the dog? I really had a heart attack. I went in the crate, in the pen, and there she was, curled up in the blankets, pushed up against the door. And I still, to this day, I'm convinced that she opened it herself. But maybe she didn't know that she opened it herself and then didn't know that the whole apartment was up for grabs. But
yeah, it was just like, oh, they're not here. This is boring. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I mean, she does do that sometimes. If we're not around, she just kind of cries a bit and then puts herself to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a little strange that the door was open, only because I really check the door. I will even turn around in the middle of the hallway to make sure that both latches are up. And I know it, Ryan. I gave her water in her crate. I lifted up the whole pen and put it back down. And if the door had been open when I did that, it would have swung open. But it didn't. Who opened the crate? Adelaide? Do you have a confession? Anywho, if we had one of those dog cameras, we would have known what happened. But we decided not to buy it. Just something that didn't necessarily work for us.
And the last thing,
Bzzz.
a Dremel. So like we were talking about that there's different kinds of nail clippers. We got the Dremel thinking that it would be a little...
Less scary.
Yeah. It turned out kind of to be the opposite, actually. The clippers can be kind of one and done and over. And the Dremel is a more sustained process. And she has learned that she wants to pull her nails away from us. So if we can do the clipping and do a quick clip, then that works better for us.
And the sound of the Dremel, I remember holding her when we first tried it and her whole body would shake. She just did not like the sound of that Dremel. We don't really subject her to it anymore. It's something you could probably train to have your dog desensitized to it, but the nail clipping just seems more efficient for us. Last but not least, the things we wish we had.
Short list.
It's very short because something I learned from writing out all these categories is we wish we had reusable pee pads right from the beginning because 1, better for the environment. 2, your dog's not going to eat them.
Mm-hmm.
3, they're easily washable.
People always talk about how Italian Greyhounds are difficult to potty train. In doing this episode, I've realized that maybe it didn't take us as long as it does for some people, but we definitely put a lot of effort into making sure she was potty trained. And now, honestly, she's perfect.
She's absolutely perfect. One hot tip about the reusable pee pads, though. If your dog has peed on the pee pad numerous times, sometimes, at least with Adelaide, she won't re-pee on the same spot. She's picky, so she'll pee as close to the edge as she can, trying to find a new spot. So it's motivation for us to wash it more often, to make sure it's fresh so that she enjoys peeing on it and she doesn't pee right on the edge. Saves you any potential cleanups.
Mm-hmm. And Italian Greyhound specific clothing.
So this is where Etsy comes into play. We did not know about the vast variety of Italian Greyhound designed clothing when we first got Adelaide. So we were buying your typical small dog clothes, but realized that the proportions of Iggy's are very unique. They've got the wider chest, skinny neck, skinny legs, potentially long body. If you're looking for specific breed-specific clothing, on Etsy, there are lots of different vendors. And look into it right away because some of them have long wait times. Some of them sell out months in advance. We still haven't gotten ourselves one of those Iggysaurus onesies, but I really want one.
Mm-hmm. And there's a kind that I want, which is a sweater or shirt that has front sleeves, but it's open in the back. And I think she is going to enjoy having something like that. It won't be as constricting for her stride, but she can still stay warm. So we still have things on our list even a year in that we still haven't gotten around to getting.
And maybe wish we had sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So have we learned anything, Ryan, from this long list? Our 4 categories and long list.
I think the must-haves list is shorter than I was expecting.
Okay.
I know we said like 11 items seems really long, but when you're talking about like food and blankets and a pen and pee pads as most of this list, that doesn't leave a whole lot of extra, right? You can be prepared pretty easily for when your dog is going to come home. And also it's difficult to pee pad train Italian Greyhounds. That's the other thing I learned.
Absolutely.
Anything for you?
When I picture an Iggy Starter Kit, I think of her pen setup. The 4-foot-high pen is very unique for Iggy's. The pee pads for Iggy's are unique. I think your typical dog is really going to train to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole different process.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I have the heart for it. I'm just so attached to training her on the pee pad that taking your dog out every hour.
Yeah, we have talked
It's
about
a lot of
this,
work.
that we live on the 3rd floor of an apartment, which then like it's totally different if you can open your back door and they can run out into the backyard.
That's how we trained my dog.
Yeah.
You don't have to take her for a walk every time she needs to pee.
Mm-hmm. And for Adelaide, like we said, she doesn't like clothes, which then extends to the harness and collar. So then it's a whole process. And then also Canadian winters.
Not cute.
Yeah.
Not cute for an Iggy. I think that buying on a budget in the beginning is good, just so that you don't overspend. That's my big theme. You will learn what your dog needs, and maybe the list of the want items is stuff that you get after a few months. I hope this helps anyone who just got their new Iggy, if there's something you forgot or something that you're still needing, like we said.
Or it's something that you hadn't thought of or hadn't heard of. I know there's stuff on this list that by the time we got Adelaide, we definitely didn't know all of this stuff.
No, it's come from a year of experience.
Yeah. And
for sure.
Talking to people, learning about things online, and hopefully this podcast can be one of those things that can help you.
Good luck with your new Iggy.
Pupdates! That was our fourth shot at it, and we finally did it.
We woke up with the dog. Okay, ready? 3, 2. Pupdates!
Adelaide graduated from dog school.
Woo! Big round of applause. Woo! Clap your toe beans.
Yay! So I think the most important thing about this is the adorable photo that we got after she graduated.
Absolutely. That's
my new favorite picture of her.
Yeah.
100%.
She looks so handsome.
Mm-hmm.
With her little cap on.
Yeah.
She didn't have a gown, but who needs it? She's seal colored.
And also she's a nudist, so.
Oh, right. She wouldn't have wanted the gown anyway. Our last class, our graduating class of puppy or dog school, foundations training, was just us.
It was great.
It was so much fun. Usually the class has 4 to 6 dogs, depending. But it was just us and Adelaide. So we had a competition of who could complete training tasks faster.
We will give you 3 seconds to put in your Final Jeopardy answers. I won. It was me. I won by 1 point in the tiebreaker game. It was great.
Honestly, I thought he was going to win by a landslide. So,
so yeah, it was just solidifying what it is that you need to work on. So getting their attention, getting them to stay, being able to leash them back up, which is the one thing that we learned that we need to work on from that. I'm not saying that's the only thing we need to work on. I'm saying that's the main takeaway of what we found out we need to work on.
Yeah, that she runs away when we try and grab her, which I know that a lot of Iggy parents can relate to. My favorite part of the class was the musical chairs exercise where we had a bunch of different colored yoga mats laid out everywhere. The music would play, a wonderful dog-themed playlist. And when the music stopped, you had to get your dog to the colored mat that the instructor called out, get Adelaide to sit, and then run to another mat and get Adelaide to make eye contact with you for 5 seconds. And then you had to run to the other yellow mat and get her to go into a down position. These kinds of activities are helping you to link behavior, which is super cool because you don't always need to treat your pup after every task, after every behavior. So sometimes to be faster and try and beat the other competitor, you would not treat your dog and see if you could link the behaviors together. But it clearly didn't work out for me because Ryan won.
Yay.
It was super fun.
Yeah. We also got an exciting package in the mail.
We got a collar of Sweden.
Yeah.
Finally, after we've been eyeing these collars.
We got 2, actually.
It's true.
Because one was on sale.
We didn't talk about this, but when you're buying your collar, a common one for sighthounds is the martingale style.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a martingale collar and a plain wide collar. They're both wide, actually. But it's helpful so that they don't slip out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going well so far. She's still pulling a bit.
Yeah. She's still getting used to it. And like her pulling has been a big problem for us, honestly, because she's so dang social. She just wants to go meet everybody.
It's always when she sees another dog.
Yeah.
100%. I was walking her today and it was just when there was another dog. She loses control. It's like an overstimulation and she just gets so excited.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. Something to work on.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of dog yoga.
Yes, that's been a fun project for this week.
We just posted a photo. Well, we've been posting photos every day for the last few days. But if you are looking on our Instagram in the future, there's an incredible photo of Adelaide just floating in the air as I'm in this high lunge position, and we got her to jump up. Stay tuned for more yoga dog adventures.
Yeah.
Last pup date, Ryan's new job.
I kind of gave it away earlier, but I'm going to be starting a new job at PetSmart. The quarantine restrictions are being lifted, or lockdown restrictions, I should say, are being lifted. And there's a PetSmart opening that's a 10-minute walk from us. So I'm going to try my hand at being a dog retail associate. I think it's going to be fun because I have gone in now a couple of times for training and for the interview, and just seeing dogs makes me happy.
Even if it's not our dog.
I know.
I'll just go in and visit. It's fine.
I mean, I can't imagine they wouldn't want to meet Adelaide. Everyone is going to hear about Adelaide, that's for sure.
They're going to see her on Instagram.
Yeah, I literally said that in my interview. I was like, everyone that I talk to in the store is going to know about Adelaide. Be like, well, for my dog, my adorable Italian Greyhound that you should follow on Instagram, we feed her these kinds of treats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Iggy Parents. You can follow us on Instagram at The Iggy Parents.
Or find us on YouTube. Search for The Iggy Parents, and you'll find us.
This podcast is available where all podcasts are found. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye from Ryan.
And Jess.
And Adelaide.
The Iggy.